So if you don't believe that you're worthy of something, you sabotage it every single time. As humans, our default is to go to the negative, go to, drop into that self sabotage mode.
Yeah, I don't think though I don't think everybody's. I think it got a lot to depend. It depends a lot on your environment and where you came from, and your surroundings. And we often talk about that group of 5 people that you spend most time around. You become the average of those people. So I don't know if I'd say. I think for the mass majority, it probably is, just because of where we spend most of our time, and a lot of it may be, for a lot of people, is watching like a TV programs and stuff. But it's so deep on a subconscious level that it's really, really hard to recognize it and see it. And you've got to be really, and not only see it, but then to actually overcome it, right? So even when we do some of the things that we do here, and even having these chats, so I'm not in the mood to do it, or something feels like, oh, I don't really want to do it, but we find this is really important stuff and really nice topics to talk about. So even in that moment, what is saying to me there's something underneath that's trying to sabotage or stop us from just trying to do something positive, just have a chat, have a little conversation, and spread a little bit of goodness, right?
So do you think that, like for me, I can't remember back to when I was positive. I think I probably would have been like Charlie's age. So do you think that that self-sabotage and that negativity comes from within a system that we were placed in? Because, and I've said this before, for me, the education system was not a positive experience.
What do you mean by positive, and how much of a ratio, and are you talking about the overall
Well, I'm
positive?
talking about my
No,
experience.
yeah, but your overall experience, are you saying like overall the whole experience was not positive, or it was
it
negative, or was
absolutely
it bits
wasn't.
and pieces
No,
that were positive?
no, it wasn't, because I was born in 1972, so, that's quite some time ago. So when I went to school, I suffered from learning disabilities. So that was never recognized, so I was treated a certain way. And it wasn't always positive, and the system was not designed for a child like me. So it created a lot of negativity within my world, of expectations that I had for myself when I compared myself to the other children in the class that were doing quite well academically. So it set me up for a lot of negativity very early on in life.
So we talk about your defaults. So you're saying from a really young age, your default emotion was, or your default feeling was that
I wasn't good enough.
I'm not, I can't, I can't do what these other kids are doing, or I'm not good enough, or
I'm
like
not
you
smart
said,
enough.
or for some reason I am not worthy.
Yep.
Hey, listen, you know what else too? What people get into, right, is then they get into all this blaming different things for that
Oh
too,
God,
right?
I blamed
So
the system for so
yeah, but
long.
you're blaming the system. Some people blame their parents. Then people will blame some person in their school, and then you get into blaming God, and something's always to blame, right?
But then I realized as I got older that I wasn't stupid, and I definitely was worthy, and I was actually pretty friggin' smart. The system just was not structured for how I needed to learn, and I figured that out pretty early in life. And but it was difficult. Like it can definitely take you down a hole of being a victim, and like, I can't do that because I have learning disabilities, or I can't do that because I'm not worthy. And for me, it's been quite the journey, just learning who I am and what I'm capable of doing.
Yeah. So I guess in a lot of ways, different is linked by, like, say, the group or society or that herd stuff, different is considered maybe negative or
Well, you're
bad.
signaled out.
Being signaled out is because you're not fitting in, right? You're not fitting into a certain thing, so what comes from that is everything that you're seeing outside yourself is reflecting back a thing of is reflecting back that you don't fit in, or there's something wrong, or there's something. Well, actually, is what it is just being probably different than the majority. I think though most people can relate to that. If they can relate to it, say with school or like learning a certain way, because everybody learns different ways, right? Everybody got kind of different personalities, but you would think that everybody could relate to that though, in a certain aspects of their life somewhere, like just being a little bit different or a little bit not exactly the same, and then feeling those feelings of being treated differently. And even if you're not, maybe if you just feel that way, then you create all that stuff in your own mind. You can create it in your own mind. Someone could say a word to you just because of the way you feel about a certain situation. Then you create the whole scenario, man. You create it all, right? So, no, it's very interesting. But different is not bad. Different is just
No.
interesting. Different, but in saying that, though, when we're dealing with public school, and public school is like herd school, you can call it herd school, or it's just the majority stuff, right? So if you are different and you don't do it exactly the same way, or if you don't learn exactly the same way, then you do feel different. Then you do feel signaled out a little bit. And then you do, and that's probably where that word, and I hate that word though, to call someone stupid, right? Anyone who feels stupid, that's a sin.
And I don't know if it was pure luck or alignment or what got me to get exposed to some of the things that I got exposed to at like a pretty early age, like say 21 and 22, which set me on that journey to actually on my own to go and seek out counseling and seek out help to actually discover. I think I know what it was. I think, I was working as a nail tech and I had a lot of really professional clients. So, and some of them were psychologists, some of them were psychiatrists. So through asking questions and really picking their brain, I actually got to learn a lot about me. So, I don't know if that was luck that I got aligned with these people at a very young age that set me on that path of self-discovery to actually, figure out that I'm not stupid. Like, I'm actually quite the opposite. But it's unfortunate that at a very young age, in the system that, we were both in, that it kind of didn't really work out for me. I used to be angry about it. I'm not anymore because that made me into who I am today.
Yeah. Well, anger, let's say, is like an acid. It corrodes a person internally. So if a person has that going on internally, someone is blaming someone else for stuff, or blaming, really. The antidote to anger, though, sometimes is forgiveness. Because if you truly can forgive and forget that past, I don't want to say forget, but forgive it. It's like an antidote. It's almost like it brings the pH level back in your body. Like, seriously, be able to do it. So once you start getting the mindset of these things were not bad, they were experiences. I'm still, like, it's a learning experience.
They're not happening to me, they're happening for me.
Yeah. So if you can get into that kind of mindset, right?
And I think, too, one of the things we tell Charlie is actually, because she gets angry, and to use that anger to fuel things that she wants to do in a positive manner. So use the anger for action.
For a positive action.
For a positive action.
Well, anger can be just energy, right?
Exactly.
As long as you're not lashing it. Sorry, go ahead.
You just want to transmute it. So it's like alchemy in action. You transmute that anger into positive action.
Yeah. You can use it. It's an energy. It's a fuel. So you can use it if you want. But it's just being careful not to. It's like managing it, though, right? It's like managing all your emotions, right? You have them all. Most people do. Some people don't, right? There are certain people that just do not have the same level of emotional experience as other people. But if you, like you say, have these emotions, anger. I know a little bit about anger, but if you can harness that and manage it, you can turn it into energy to do stuff. Right?
Absolutely. And that's a really good thing to explore. Actually, I would encourage you to, when you get angry, you know, examine the anger and look at it and see if you can actually take that anger and transmute it into positive action, right? Whether that's going out and going for a walk to clear your head, or I see Russell sometimes, he'll come out of the trailer and pick up the skipping rope and he's out skipping, and I'm sure that's probably, you know, what you're doing.
Blowing, it's just like you say, geez, the skipping is cool. I was there skipping one day, one of the Mexican fellows, who are you fighting? Who's are you training? And I was like, nah, just like doing that skipping. It's like a high, it's like we were talking about this a little while ago. It's like that high intensity training for short spurts. It's got like a lot of benefits to it, right? So the skipping a rope, man, is...
You're just transmuting energy. So if you're frustrated or you're angry, just, you know, move your body. And you know, Tony Robbins is huge into that. Is you're changing your physiology, right? I like to call it alchemy because it sounds cooler, but you know, you're just changing your physiology from, you know, a negative experience into flooding your body with positive dopamine, serotonin, right? Very quickly.
Okay, that's excellent. We probably talk about this more later on, but when you're saying, and you're talking about this little moment in time, so say if I'm a bit pissed off or something, and like you say, punching bag used to be good when I was young. I had a punching bag, a heavy bag, and that was good. Because I don't want to punch a person, right? And I don't want to be in any of that stuff, and I don't want to be in a conflict. So if you can get rid of it or just blow off that energy a little bit, but just think about that. Use that little moment in time and just do it there. And like you're talking about alchemy, right? Anyway, I'm thinking about, what if you can do that with your past? What if you can take that past that you experienced, and you label it as negative and something really awful, all these things that happened to you, and everybody has them, man. There's no one's special or no one's unique. You know, you can label them, oh, yours is a little bit worse than this one. There's always someone worse. You'll find someone with worse experiences. But if you can take those experiences and find a way to get past with a bit of forgiveness, and it's very difficult for some people it's easier, and look at it as something that tempered you, man. It's like you were tempered by fire, man. You got tempered, just like the hardest steel you can imagine. What that turned into was something really good. Look at what you turned into, man. You're like a warrior, man. You battle through this stuff. Male, female, that doesn't make no difference to me. The person, right, has gone through all these things emotionally and even physically, whatever. But now you can, as an alchemist, you can turn that into like pure gold. There's no anger about it, man. Thank you very much for making it hard. Was what you did for me. It's like a trainer who pushes you to train hard.
Yeah.
You turn into super fit, like, you know. So if you can look at it that way a little bit, and that alchemist is turning that negative into something positive, right? Turning that shitty old lead you were dragging around into bars of bright, brilliant gold, right?
And that's a beautiful thing, because we are the alchemists in our life, and we get to decide how we're going to go forth in, you know, in this moment in time, in the future. And Russell's exactly right. Like, we all need to become the alchemists in our life and designing an amazing life. And I'll leave you with that, guys. That's a good one, and I could think about that for a long time. And I would encourage you to think about it too, because you truly are the alchemist in your life, and you can take all those shitty experiences and turn them into something beautiful. Guys, what is more amazing, more powerful, and more beautiful than you? Absolutely nothing.